You are welcome back to Transformation Time with the Samaritan Strategy. Over the weeks, we've been talking about discipling nations. And that has become so important because it has come to a time that Christians should stand out and represent God's intentions in the various domains they find themselves. And so, discipling people is not only spiritual, but also it's incarnational, such that people would see themselves as ambassadors, as representatives, God's hands, God's feet, God's heart in whatever they do. And that has to do with intentionality, being intentional to represent God's agenda, not in one thing, but in several things. So we have talked severally about discipling nations. And then we talk about you being a gate of the city, a gate of the family, a gate of your business, a gate of your profession. Wherever you are, you ought to represent God's agenda, God's intentions. Now, if you don't play your role so well, and thieves and cockroaches and armed robbers overrun your gate, then it shows that you have not done your work as a good steward of Christ. We came to, you are a forest in the seed. And that topic also is so important because many people, because maybe they failed their exams or because they didn't do well in one thing or the other, most especially comparing themselves or comparing their success to others, they think they are failures. They think they've not made it. They think that they are not valuable. But here, you are being told that you are a forest in the seed. Maybe because you are just a seed, a peanut seed means nothing. But when planted, it does not come up in tens, but in multiples of hundreds and thousands. That is the God we serve, a God of multiplication. And we saw business as a mission. Wherever we are placed, in whatever job description we are given, we have one focus: to glorify God. We are on a mission. Not like traditionally how people think of missions, where people think you have to leave your home to a foreign land on evangelistic mission to convert souls. And that is what traditionally has been called a missionary activity. That is the Gnostic and a Greek way of thinking. Right now, we have to look at the incarnational gospel message. We are the ambassadors of Christ, representing Him in commerce and business, representing the King of Kings in the law and justice system, representing Him in our families, in our professions, in our workplaces. We are thereby making Christ more incarnational as we represent His agenda and full intentions wherever and in whatever we do. We are on missions, bringing godliness, selflessness, integrity, hard work into the corrupt business that people find themselves. So if you can start to see your work as a mission area, accounting is a mission area. The law profession, you know how people are using it. By you going there to make a difference. As a student, you have a mission to learn hard such that at the end of your studies, God is glorified. We are all on a mission. Just as the pastor is on a mission, the missionary is on a mission, the evangelist is on a mission, the apostle is on a mission, the bishop is on a mission. So we are all on missions, bringing God's glory into whatever we do. And from this we know that the work of the apostle or pastor or priest is not more important than the Christian accountant or lawyer who seeks to glorify God in whatever he or she does. Together, we are on missions. And we are now going to talk about the role of families in discipling nations. And I'm so proud to learn under people like Bob Moffitt, Darrell Miller, and Scott Allen. Scott in particular, who has a heart for nations. I mean, for families. And also, I remember my friend Darrell has written a good book on nurturing nations. It is time for us to really focus on marriage and the family. That's not been the time that this institution has been so much attacked, redefined, so much vandalized than our day. The many things that are going on as far as the gay movement is concerned, the various homosexual groupings have one focus: to destroy marriage and the family, or to redefine it and to give it a different meaning. But it is time for us to recover a vision for the role of families in discipling the nations. Now, we make basic assumption. Families are the basic building blocks of any nation. Healthy families produce healthy nations in every sphere. Again, I'm saying that these basic assumptions are so important. One, families are the basic building blocks of any nation. Without a family, there's no society and there's no nation. What are the building blocks of a nation? Families. So important. And two, healthy families produce healthy nations in every sphere. What about unhealthy nations? How about corrupt families? They produce the same. And that's why we talk about healthy families, because we need to produce healthy nations, not only in the church, not in religion, but in every sphere. Three, healthy families are the fruit of an intentional application of godly teachings on the purpose and design for marriage and family. Again, healthy families are the fruit of an intentional application. It's not just teaching. It's not just knowing it or singing about it, but intentional application of godly teachings on the purpose and design for marriage and family. 4, nations globally has largely lost this vision. As a consequence, we have unhealthy families and broken nations. And you see this brokenness all around us. They have lost this vision. And finally, one of the most urgent needs for our time is to recover a godly vision for the family and live it. Recover this godly vision for the family and live it out. We have a responsibility. Many people talk about Jonathan and Sarah Edwards' descendants, and people know the consequence of this godly family by Jonathan and Sarah Edwards' descendants in the U.S. They have produced 1 vice president of the United States, 3 U.S. senators, 3 mayors of large cities, 3 state governors, 13 college presidents, 30 judges, 65 professors, 66 physicians, 100 lawyers, over 100 pastors, over 100 cross-cultural missionaries. Others were leaders in industry, commerce, and banking. Why can't you be proud of such a family? And it is not just a wishful family. Intentionality played a serious role as far as that family is concerned. So why do we get married? It's so important. How does your society answer? Why get married? Do your society or your culture cherish it? Or do not give meaning to it? Your answer to this question is so important because it will determine how you see marriage. And so we talk about worldview and family. And when we discuss issues of worldviews, as we've done in our previous discussions, we talk about the total set of assumptions held consciously or unconsciously that shape one's view of reality and establishes one's beliefs, one's values, one's behaviors, and of course the consequences. So it sounds like the eyeglasses of the mind. Our worldview doesn't change the object of our vision. It changes how we see it. As I wear my glass, I don't look at the glass. I look through the glass. So whatever the glass allows me to see is what I see. And these are ways that worldviews are represented. So understanding worldview is a bit like trying to see the lens of one's own eye. We do not see it. But then it is important for us to recognize that it determines what we see. And it is so important for us to look at it as a way to communicate rightly or wrongly. Not see our own worldview, but we see everything else by looking through it. So put simply, our worldview is the window by which we view the world and decide often subconsciously what is real and important or unreal and unimportant. Our worldview governs our thinking even when or especially when we are unaware of it. Now this is what Philip Johnson from the Forward to Nancy PSC's Total Truth tells us about worldview. It's very important to see the impact of worldview on our day-to-day lives, because worldview impacts on our values, it impacts on our behaviors, and it impacts on our attitude. And of course, it also impacts on the family, economics, politics, education, business, the arts and music. It impacts on the environment, the law, and of course the institutions and the structures and our lifestyle. How do we grow a healthy family? First of all, we have to understand the lies that people have put in the family. There are a lot of lies. Lies impoverish. Lies kills. Lies destroys. Lies in a culture holds sometimes to be true. But truth needs to be embraced if you want to see development, if you want to see transformation. Because lies of Satan destroys families totally. Lies that destroy families and nations. You see, when you talk of a lie, something like sexism, the lie, which shows that men are better to women or men are superior to women. It's a lie. The Bible says male and female, he created them. And what's the result of such a lie? Husband's authority is exercised as raw power. Women are held sometimes as properties or as slaves. And people misuse them and mishandle them. This satanic lie is perhaps the single greatest cause of poverty in the world today. And the consequences is that the crushing of women. And when I talk of crushing of women, what are some of the indications? We say this in domestic violence. About 25 to 50% adult women worldwide are victims of domestic violence. We also have sexual violence worldwide. It's estimated that between 1 in 5 and 1 in 7 women will be raped in their lifetime. We also see sexism in pornography. In America, the pornographic industry has an annual revenue rate of approximately 12 billion. What about sex trafficking? Worldwide, approximately 2.5 million females per year are forced into sex slavery. What about abortion? Globally, there are 46 million abortions per year. That means about 126,000 per day. The vast majority of these are sex-related abortions of female infants. So where people think males are better than female. So if you have a female, abort it. Because it is the male, the boys, the men who are recognized. What about secularism? That's a lie. Which secularism tells us is that there's no God or the spirit realm or ultimate purpose. No God. And it's so sad. Against secularism, I said that public life is to be governed by laws that are not influenced by the Bible or religion or any secret belief system. Secularism says that eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow you die. There's no ultimate purpose to life or to marriage and the family. Secularism sees the family as a human invention that can be redefined to suit modern sensibilities. And the consequence of all of this is the crashing of the family. A crashing of the family. So, what is it? Redefinition of marriage. Same-sex marriage movement. Crash of the family. Rapid rise in the rate of divorce, even in Africa and Ghana. Crash of the family. The rapid rise of cohabitation and decline in traditional marriages. Crash of the family. Sexuality separated from marriage and reproduction. Sex becomes a recreational and spectator sport. Sex for fun. No value is given to it. No dignity. When you feel it, you have it. Sex now is for fun. So sad. Crash of the family. There's a steep decline in rates of reproduction. Children are seen as net economic drain, and that's a threat to personal comfort. Crashing of the family. Godly roles of husband and wife are rejected, leading to the masculinization of women and feminization of men. Crashing of the family. Rapid rise in out of wedlock birth, abortions, and fatherless household. Put all this together. What do we see? We see the mess that we find ourselves. We see the wickedness, the evil in our society. I see people don't have a conscience now. People don't have a heart now. And life is living anyhow. The church is being discipled by the nation. The rates, when you look at the rate of divorce, cohabitation, out of wedlock birth, and abortion are the same within evangelical churches as outside the church. There's something wrong. The rate of fertility are nearly the same within religious groups and as outside. We need to have the truth that liberates, the truth to recover a godly vision for the family. The Bible says you will know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. And in the truth, God clearly mentioned that it is not good for a man to marry, for a man to stay single, but to have a helper. Adam was created for Eve, and Eve was created for Adam. It is not Eve for Eve or Adam for Adam. Lies impoverish, lies kills, lies destroys. The God who created this world and who is the foundational founder of marriage purposes that people get the best in happiness, best in peace and joy and love in marriage. As far as we don't hold on to the truth, and we hold on to the lies of Satan, what happens is that we suffer discomfort, acrimony. We suffer without peace, no love, tension, divorces, and a tearing apart of each other. The very thing God created to be honored, to be respected, and to be enjoyed, now is completely misused. And the consequence is the disaster that we are all experiencing with the high divorce rates and the high dissensions and confusions in marriage. It is time for us to rediscover the godly vision for marriage and the family, to give it its true meaning and its true purpose, for people to get the best out of marriage, the best of children, the best of peace, the best of love, the best in harmony, in relationship, in partnership, so that we can be a blessing to the society that God has placed us in. It is time of transformation. And transformation means that if the church does not disciple the nations will disciple the church. It is time for married couples to make marriage so exciting that the youth would want to enter and be part of it. It is time for us to model the beauty of marriage. It is time for us to stand for the sanctity and the holiness of marriage, so that it will be blessed in every way for people to get the best out of it. For marriage and the family are the building blocks of every society. Once the building blocks are destroyed and replaced with counterfeit building blocks, then there will be disaster. And our societies will be completely broken. The onus rests with the church. We are the people who can bring God's full intentions, God's full agenda into this domain of a new vision, a godly vision for marriage and the family. Thank you so much, and God bless you.